Hi everyone, this is Vicky and this is one of my first catch-up vlogs from some of our previous trips, and this one is focused on my absolute favourite trip of all time to Beaches, Turks and Caicos. So we're going to do a little bit of a resort run through and talk about food and activities, and starting with a little walkthrough that you've just seen there through the Caribbean part of the resort, which is where we stayed. Our favourite part of the resort though was the Italian village, which we're just looking at now. That I think was kind of the more bustling part of the resort at the time that we went. You can see there they've got a lovely bar and a massive sort of pool area. I would say that this was more the lively pool rather than the Caribbean one, which was probably a bit more chilled and a bit more adult focused. But at the time we were travelling with a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, so it was important to us that they were kept entertained. Leaving the Italian village, that's Barefoot by the Sea, which is one of the restaurants that you can see there, and walking out to the absolutely amazing beach. I've never been on a beach like it before or since. Miles and miles of white sand and crystal blue waters. It was absolutely paradise. And round the back of the Italian village there, walking now into Key West, which at the time when we stayed there was the most expensive part of the resort to stay. It compromises of villas as well as sort of normal sort of apartments. Very, very expensive, at least for us, but absolutely beautiful, and was our favourite part of the village to go to for breakfast, or as you can see there, to Neptune's, which was an absolutely beautiful restaurant. Round the back, within sort of the centre bit of Key West, were another two sort of food areas. The first one was called Bayside, and that was really great for breakfast. We used to go there quite a bit for breakfast. The actual sort of seating and outlook there was amazing, and there you can see the menu for Sky, which was the rooftop bar, but sadly we didn't get to try that because it was adults only, and obviously we were travelling with 2 children. Moving on into the French village. So again, the French village was probably a little bit more chilled, a bit more grown up. Really, really lovely still. The pool was lovely and similar to the Italian village. It had a 0 entry part of the pool, which was quite important to us because we were obviously travelling with young ones. And it also had some lovely places to eat within the French village as well, which I'll talk a little bit about. And I would say one of the main standout features of this holiday was the food. The food was absolutely incredible, and was an absolute highlight to our trip. The drinks, everything was sort of ultra all-inclusive. There was nothing that we had to pay any additional fees for, and it was just absolutely amazing. You'll see that I keep going back to the beach throughout this vlog because it was one of my absolute favourite places. So this now is the seaside area, what they call the seaside area. You can see there the little pavilions that they've got lining the shore, little seating areas, and also you'll be able to see sort of the accommodation, which was very much like beach bungalow-esque, which was really, really nice. And this is one of the areas where you could go and they would have barbecues and things by the beach, and you could go and get that around lunchtime. This pavilion is very special to me because it's actually where we got married on this holiday. Well, we actually got married at the beach, but we had our wedding breakfast within the pavilion. I'll talk a little bit about that in a separate vlog. But this area was really beautiful, and you can see how like the grounds are really, really well maintained. And lovely, and it was just an idyllic holiday really. Round the back here you can see the pizza place, so you could just go and get takeaway pizzas in boxes, go and sit by the pool, take them back to your room, whatever it was that you particularly felt like doing that day. And again, now sort of circling back into the Caribbean resort, which was where we stayed. you can kind of see sort of the accommodation that we stayed in just there at the back. One thing I would say is the accommodation. I haven't got any pictures of the rooms that I can find, because obviously this is going back now 8 years. So I've struggled to find sort of pictures of everything. But one thing I would say about the rooms is that they were quite outdated. So moving on to food, you'll have seen there the menu for Mario's, which was the Italian restaurant. This again is kind of the seating area where we would sit for breakfast in Bayside, and as I said, that was our favourite place to go. I would also say that I think at the time, I don't know whether it's still the case, that you can go upstairs with children for breakfast into the Sky Bar. So, you know, maybe if you're there with children and that's something that you really wanted to try but you haven't been able to try for like dinner, then you can go up there for breakfast. And this is kind of back in Key West, walking through the Key West pool. I would say, again, the majority of families really were going into the Italian village to swim with the kids, and that's where they had sort of the entertainment on and the dancing in the pool and things like that, if that's the type of thing that you're in for. But I would say that there's loads of choice around the resort in terms of what type of vibe you're going for, and there's plenty of sort of places to go and chill and have a really quiet time. Café de Paris was absolutely lovely, again French, and this is where you could go for coffee and pastries. And also you will see now what the kids absolutely loved, and I must admit I absolutely loved it too, which was the big tub of hot, warm, gooey marshmallows with hot melted chocolate for you to be able to take away in a bowl. Around the water park area, they had a mac and cheese truck, all different types of mac and cheese, and my absolute favourite was Curls and Swirls, which was the ice cream truck that also did milkshakes, and they were absolutely unreal in terms of the taste. I think my favourite was the strawberry and chocolate brownie. And then also within the water park was Bobby D's. This was really, really great. So they did all things like popcorn, again, ice cream, cookies, muffins, all sorts of treats, really, and very like American vibe, really relaxed. You could go there for dinner if you didn't fancy something really sort of formal. But they also did burgers, hot dogs, and all of that type of thing. So this was also an absolute beautiful setting of an evening, and it was the fish restaurant on the front, and I'm now trying to remember what it was called, so apologies for that. But that was absolutely beautiful. And we also managed to try kimonos, which was the teppanyaki type experience, which was really, really fun. The children really, really enjoyed that, watching them sort of cook in front of you, and my son actually got up and managed to get involved in some of the cooking. So you can see from kind of these food pictures how absolutely beautiful the food was in terms of presentation, but it was also really, really delicious, as were the drinks, especially the frozen ones. And so, as I mentioned, we got married while we were there, and we had our wedding breakfast in the pavilion. The food was out of this world. We were able to choose absolutely anything that we wanted, and they cooked it for us. We also had platters of cheese and fruit and a beautiful wedding cake, and my bouquet there made of shells and orchids. In terms of sort of things to do, there was always a live singer on around the resort in the different places. There was live shows, and they were really, really good at getting sort of kids up and getting them involved. We really enjoyed going to that and doing that each night. It was really, really fun, and the entertainers were really, really good fun as well. So that was a really sort of nice thing to have. Obviously, you have all your usual kinds of excursions and everything that you can book onto for an extra cost. And I might do a little bit of a separate vlog about some of the different things we did. But you can also see there that they actually had a Build-A-Bear as one of the shops in the resort, which as you can imagine, our 5-year-old was delighted with. The spa was also beautiful. I tried that there to get my nails done and a few treatments before the wedding day. And we also went on a catamaran cruise with Elmo, because for those of you that are aware, Beaches and Sandals, they have an affiliation, or they used to have, I don't know whether it's still the case, I'll find that out, an affiliation with Sesame Street. So that was kind of the draw for the kids. And here Elmo was dancing around, there were snacks and drinks available, and it was just really fun. They also have a little mini train that you can hop onto to get around. It is only a kiddie train, but again, the kids love it. And that is the entrance to Pirates Island, which is the on-site water park, which was again sort of priceless for the kids. They were just absolutely delighted to be able to pop in and out of the water park, and there's plenty of places around there for adults to sit and to watch, and they do have a big lazy river as well, and some slides that are suitable for the grown-ups, as you can see. So it was really fun. And then the wave rider was a real draw, primarily for the boys. But that was really fun, and you can see there the bar as well. My son in particular really loved the Xbox Play Lounge that they had, where they just had rows of Xboxes that you could play on. And that kind of brings me to a close in terms of my quick tour around Beaches, Turks and Caicos. I just, can't explain how gorgeous the beaches and the water was. It was just the most crystal blue colour. I've never seen anything like it, and I can't wait to go back. I do hope that you've really enjoyed this bit of a tour around my favourite place. It will always have a really special place in my heart, and I will try to do some additional shorter vlogs about other bits and pieces that you might like to know if you decide to go. But other than that, thank you for listening, and see you next time.